Hello.
Hey there.
Hello, hello. Nice to see you again.
Great to see you as well. Great to be seen. Much love to you,
hmm
Adriana. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you, Jerome. How are you?
Doing amazing. Doing amazing. The energy's raising. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I love that you rhyme so often.
It's
It's
just
it's
natural.
amazing. It's really like fascinating and impressive, actually.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I came up in the theater, so
Me
theater is in
too.
my blood. There you go. So we know performing arts, you know.
Yeah, you really got it in you, though.
Oh
It's like
man.
coming out of you.
Oh, I had to inject it in my veins, so it could be maintained, you know? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So my
hmm
goodness, since the last time that we spoke with each other, Adriana, and thank you for coming back. What has
It's my
transpired?
pleasure.
Yeah. I would love to know, like, between now and then, in the meantime, in between time since we talked, what has transpired? What has taken you higher? Like, how have you rewired? What are your desires? Like, where are you going now in life? What is flowing now in your life?
Hmm. I think uh, since then, I've been kind of just sailing on the same river, the same downstream river. I'm not gonna try to rhyme. Oh my gosh, I was like, can I? Nope, I'm not Jerome. I'm gonna leave that to you, my friend. You are the master of that. I'm just gonna pass that off. Um, let's all stay. Let's all do the things that we're good at. How about
You're
that?
funny.
So,
You're funny.
but yeah, so I've just been basically doing the similar things, I suppose. And I think the plan that I've come to a place of clarity about what I'm going to do. So I'm choosing to stay in Canada for the Christmas season, which I'm really happy about because I love being here with my family for
Mhm.
Christmas. And then I'm planning to go back to Bali again in January, which I'm so excited about. Like, I actually feel excited about it now, whereas before I was feeling really anxious about that. But now I feel awesome about it. And yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Awesome. I'm sure your family appreciates your presence there in Canada,
Oh,
you know?
yeah, they do. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Having your presence on Christmas, that's nice that you get that family time.
hmm
And January, Bali trip. When last were you in Bali?
I was there in April, and then I went to Thailand, and then I came back to Canada in May.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. Was that your first time there in Indonesia?
Last year in December, I think. Yeah. hmm
Beautiful. What did you enjoy most with your time there, with your travels?
I mean, the fruit is out of this world. It's the main reason I actually went to Indonesia was because I wanted to eat the fruit there because it's just amazing. The durian is so Oh man. I think most fruitarians that I know, if I ask them what their favorite fruit is and they've tried fresh durian, almost unanimously people tell me that that's their favorite fruit, and it's mine too. So I'm part of that crew. hmm
Beautiful. Beautiful. Is that where you took those pictures, Adriana, of like these giant,
Yeah.
pieces of that was during that time?
That was in Bali last year. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because it was like these spiky fruits, like you were just standing next to these giant, and then one of them you
Mhm.
had it was bigger than your face. It was
That
bigger
was
than
my
your head.
durian. That
Oh,
was the durian.
gotcha.
Oh, so, so you don't want to do that with the spiky part. You don't want to shove your face in it. But when you crack it open, then oh my God. I wonder, you never tried it before, I guess.
I've never had one. I've never even seen one in the physical. I've only heard about them, and I've also heard about the smell. Is that true?
Oh, it's divine.
It's okay. It's a good smell. It's not
Yeah.
like a pungent.
Well, it is, yeah, it's like a stronger smell, I suppose you could say. And I know that some people say that it is reminiscent of gasoline and fart,
That
which does
combination.
not sell it. It does not sell it very well. But honestly, I think it's the frozen durian that gives off more of that gassy smell. Whereas I think that the fresh durian smells like so good. It smells like durian. Like I don't know what everybody's talking about. I used to leave the empty durian rinds in my little apartments just so I could smell it all day
Okay.
because I love the smell so much.
So it's almost like an aphrodisiac or like an aromatherapy. Aromatherapy.
Well, yes, yes, all of the above. Aphrodisiac, aromatherapy.
So you would keep the rinds just to
Yeah,
just to smell one
yeah.
time.
I was like an air freshener. Not that I needed one, but it was just because I loved the smell. It's so good.
Awesome.
Yeah, yes, I really highly recommend if you haven't tried fresh durian, that you go to a Southeast Asian country so you can try it. It's just so good,
hmm
so
And
good.
this is very interesting. Thank you for this testimony as well, Adriana, because when you're talking about, fruitarianism, just your love of fruit in general, and with people that think that it's so limited or like, why would you put a limitation
Mm.
on your, vibration or your level of consumption, and but they don't understand, that there's just so many. I was watching one of your videos on YouTube where you were talking about thousands and thousands of different types of fruit,
Yeah.
and even like tons of different types of apples. Just apples alone, you were talking about there are so many different ones. And I just love just the way that you explained it is just so simple and plain. You really bring things down to earth. So have you heard like just a lot of people throughout your journey, you know, give that argument or talk about how, why is, that fruitarianism would be limited? Have you heard that
Mm.
argument?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. And thank you for that wonderful compliment. I think the reason a lot of my videos are very simple is because I like to understand things in a simple way. I don't I that's how I start to understand things because I'm not a science major or something like that. Like I'm not a scientist. I'm just turning off my heater. It's almost winter in Canada, you guys. Um, but anyway, so yeah, I actually really like to understand things more simply. And I think one of the big attractions for me about the raw vegan diet is that it is so simple to understand. The way that it is that you can break it down in your own mind, you can make it such a simple idea, and it helps people to take it on and really understand why they're doing it. I've noticed whenever I used to study other diets, there were so many different little scientific things that I had to try to understand, and they were so complicated. You need this nutrient, you need that nutrient, you need this much of that, and like the raw vegan diet is so simple. It's like just eat bananas for frick's sakes, you know. Um, but yes, a lot of people do say that about the raw vegan diet, that it's a little complicated, or it seems like it's limiting, like you said. Um, but I actually find that it's not limiting at all.
Right.
Um, well, you could say that because it's so simple, it's less complex than other standard diets, which I think is actually true.
hmm
It actually is way more simple. And
hmm
I believe that in the simplicity, there is so much more freedom, like 100 times more. It's like, think about if you have a super messy room versus a really clean room, which one do you feel better in? And
Bingo.
most people will say the clean room, right? Most people say they like a clean environment. Most people thrive on simple diets, but also with simple lifestyles. When you know what you want, when uh, your path in life, the simplicity of that, having one thing to focus on at a time. It's not very much different for your digestive system. Your digestive system likes to and appreciates focusing on one thing to digest at a time. This is why for clients and for anybody, I always stress mono-meal diet or mono-meal eating. So for example, this morning I had grapes for breakfast. And it was so satisfying. And most people cannot yet wrap their minds around the idea of eating one type of fruit at a time for an entire meal. But when you have a fruit that is really, really good, like I have really good organic grapes right
hmm
now, it is so delicious. You don't get tired of it. It's the same way that a lion does not get tired of eating one zebra.
hmm
All of it is delicious. like every single bite, slurping up the blood and all that disgusting stuff they enjoy is really good for them. Same thing for cows, for example. Cows they never get tired of eating grass. Ugh.
Right.
Like I can't even imagine eating grass all day. That's disgusting. But for me, eating delicious grapes is, I don't get tired of it. If I'm not hungry anymore, then yes, I get tired of it. But I think this desire for variety has been bred into us. We have become used to eating a variety of foods or these very exciting flavor combinations as well. So it's just a learning and an unlearning process, just like anything, really.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that piece in, Adriana. Like, and I would definitely, recommend people to go follow your YouTube channel because you have a video on there, a beautiful video illustrating that variety is overrated. You're like, but what is variety? You're like, you said in the video, I just love the way you add humor. You're like, you would never go to a giraffe and say, hey, you don't have enough variety in your diet. Would you go to a cow? Would you go to these animals and say, you need a little more variety in your diet? And it's crazy because I mean we do that,
Mm-hmm.
we do that, but it's like when it comes to ourselves as a human species, we think that, we're just so above or so superior that we need all of these complex things and that it has to be very convoluted and complicated, but it can be very simple. And
Yeah.
I had an issue with simplicity back in the day. I mean, I fell into the protein programming. I fell into the programming of, I mean, just so much. I was very hypnotized by, I mean, I needed all these sauces. I needed all these condiments. I needed all these dressings. I was always stressing over what dressing. It was always depressing, right? It was really depressing.
Yeah.
So, were there levels of like, if you could just paint a picture for people before you became fruitarian, before you became accustomed to having monofruit meals and just having grapes for breakfast, what was your consumption like back then? Like, was there a period of time where you were really deep into complexity?
I I didn't realize it, but probably, yeah. Like I think that's the funny thing is that, like, just a little side note here on that. Like, people think that this diet of fruitarian, of eating just grapes for breakfast, is super extreme. Like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. People call me crazy all the time, like right to my face. I'm like, oh, I just ate bananas for breakfast, and they're like, you're crazy. And I'm like, yes.
You're like, you're like,
Like, yeah, I am totally bananas, my friend. Yes,
oh man.
absolutely bananas. But like, it's actually really funny because they don't recognize the irony of saying that to me, because they don't, like you were commenting on my video, like they don't look at anteaters and say, "Look at that crazy anteater! It only eats ants. What a nutcase! Oh my god, that squirrel is only eating nuts! Like what a lunatic!
Right.
Oh my god, put him in an asylum. He has an eating disorder." Oh my God, you have no idea how many times people accuse me of having a freaking eating disorder. And I'm like, I just ate 1,000 calories worth of bananas for breakfast. Are you crazy?
Mm.
Are you, anyways, I'm ranting.
No, no,
Okay,
no, it's all good. I feel you.
let me
I
get
feel you.
back on track.
I feel your passion. I feel you.
Oh, thank you very much. You're so kind.
Seriously. You
Oh,
know.
but yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
No, you were about to say something else. What were you about to say?
Well, because you commented about like the complexity of
Mhm.
things, like how I used to be, yeah, more complex.
Mhm.
We had talked about that, and I think I was, but just kind of in a general way. Like I was more standard diet when I was a lot younger. So of course I ate what everybody else was eating, which probably was pretty complex stuff, sauces galore, you know, all that stuff, spices, everything. Going to McDonald's, you know, all that garbage, alcohol, like literal poison, putting it in your body. That was my thing as well. I loved alcohol. I loved smoking weed with my ex-boyfriend at the time. Like I loved all kinds of stuff. And then, you know, as I became vegan, I was still super complex flavors. I loved adding sauces to nearly everything. I loved adding spices. I loved salt. Like, I loved all that stuff, you know? Like, I loved going out to eat. And so, yeah, it just slowly over time, as I discovered that I needed to heal and detoxify my body, I slowly became more and more simple in my dietary choices. So I suppose I slowly slipped into insanity, according to the rest of society, or health, as you could call it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so of course, I started out just like most people, in like what is considered normal. So I can never judge anybody for being there because I was there. And these foods taste fantastic. We cannot deny that. It is okay to acknowledge that McDonald's tastes really good. Like, yeah, it does. But it's because it's stimulating. All of those spices, all the chemicals, all the additives, these things are there to make people to come back. It's not necessarily malicious. It's just that people want to make money. So they want to make their food taste good. I understand that, but this is why we have to become now more aware rather than making everybody else evil and like, oh, they're so bad for hurting me. It's like, you know what? They're allowed to want to make money. But if we want things to change, we have to start changing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you have as the individual, where you put your dollar actually matters. If you start spending money on organic raw fruits and vegetables, you're going to start seeing more of them. Like if the rest of the world starts doing that too, oh my gosh, people are going to start planting fruit trees.
Wow. I mean, geez, you know, what a novel idea, you know, what a novel idea. I just love that you're talking about just vote with your money, vote with your dollars,
Yeah.
and, you know,
Yeah.
make them holler when you vote with your dollars. They holler, you
I
know?
like that. Make them holla.
Yeah, they gonna holler. They like, I'll holler, you know? So, my goodness, when you're talking about this, and it really is, you know, an important message because when you're talking about the extremity, the complexity, or what we perceive as a limitation vibration, you know, I mean, yeah, there were so many complexities with what I was eating on a daily basis on the dollar menu. On the dollar menu, just walking into Mickey D's, just getting my, you know, just getting my 6-piece nugget, getting my sweet and sour sauce, getting the hot and spicy, getting the double cheese. It was so regular, so normalized, like Galia is saying. It was just so normal that we didn't even think about what is actually happening in my body, what is actually being done to my digestion, you know, what is actually being, you know, what is actually gunking up my gastrointestinal tract, like what is actually happening within me, and how is it changing my DNA? How is it changing the cellular makeup, you know, the structure of my deoxyribonucleic acid, as one of my friends talks about, you know, like what is actually going on? Who am I becoming? You know, how is it changing my emotions? How is it rearranging my mind? How is it stimulating, as you say?
Yeah.
And, you know, how is this formula, this chemical cocktail, where is it bringing me? Where is it bringing me? So I never asked these kinds of questions. I never even pondered. I was never even curious. I was just going and getting my fix, you know, just going and just, just getting my fix every day at Mickey D's and just not even questioning, you know, what actually was happening. And it was only when I stopped that I felt the side effects of, you know, they start to kick in when you stop. Just like we talked last time, we talked about caffeine, and you feel it when you stop, right? When you stop, you see, oh, this is a problem. But you don't know it's a problem when you just, you know, wake up, another cup, wake up, another cup, you know, another energy drink here, there, you know. You don't feel it until you go without it for a little time, and then you realize, whoa, you know? So when it comes to alcohol, I definitely was in those frequencies as well that you talk about, Adriana, with, the Four Locos. I was one of the guinea pigs, the test subjects for the malt liquor, the Mike's Lemonade, the Four Loco, the sangria, the cheap wine at the grocery
Hmm.
store, at the gas station, and just,
Me too.
yo, let's turn up, right? Let's turn
Yeah,
up.
let's get
Let's go
turned.
out. Let's hit the club. So how long did it take you to kick alcohol? How long did that take?
I I never really had a plan to kick it. I never had a plan to stop drinking. Um, I think as I was on my health journey, I slowly started to pick up on and learn new things about what to take out, just
Mm.
slowly over time. And then eventually, I don't even remember what the moment was. I think I just decided one day, like, oh, right, wait a second, this is actual poison. I think that's what came to my mind one day. I was like, hold on a second. Alcohol is diluted poison. That's literally what it is. This is not like an exaggeration. I think I just either read that or saw that somewhere, or I downloaded it from the universe or my own mind. I don't know. And I was just like, Kate, I'm done. I will never drink it again.
Just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
like that. So you came to the realization because I watched your video on this as well.
Mm.
And Adriana, for those who don't know, Adriana has a lovely video where you talk about
Thank you.
how, yes, you talk about how health is the new punk rock, right?
It sure is.
It's the new punk rock. You're like, health is the new punk rock. Poison is not cool. And you talked about something that I've never heard anybody say or vocalize. Could you explain? You said it's a protoplasmic poison. You're like, why
Yeah.
would you consume poison in moderation? You said
Mm-hmm.
it's protoplasmic. So for those who don't understand what that means, what is protoplasmic?
Yeah, so this is actually a factoid that I learned from Dr. Doug Graham, who you had on your show earlier. Absolutely adore him. I learned so much of my knowledge from him, and continue to learn from him. But protoplasmic poison is essentially a cellular poison. So it means that it actually kills the cells. So alcohol, when it gets in contact with cells, it kills them. That's it. It's like, you hear people say, "Oh, don't drink too much liquor, you'll kill brain cells or you'll hurt your liver." It's like, no, like you're killing cells.
Yeah.
Like it literally damages your body in that way. And of course, your cells you can regenerate cells and they're regenerating all the time, but like, you're killing healthy cells
Yeah.
for frick's sakes. But I mean, we're not aware of this because it's so normalized.
Right.
It's just like the most normal thing. Just like you were talking about going to Mickey D's and getting turned up, it's so cool. It's like considered cool. And I'm trying to make, like, my mission is to make being healthy freaking punk rock as hell, because it's so dang cool now, because it's not mainstream like it hasn't been mainstream for a long time to be like a health nut, to be like the freaking health nut in the room. Like, yeah, I'm just eating bananas for breakfast. What are you doing? Like, it's so punk rock because it's weird.
Mm.
So I'm trying to sell it like that a little bit, because I want people to feel like this is actually something that it's kind of like the way punks, like punk bands and all that, like they would go against the mainstream in some sort of way. They would get piercings or do some weird stuff with their body or sing songs that are really mad. But what if like being punk now is like being optimal health, and you're just thriving?
Mm.
Wouldn't that be such a cool version of being punk rock, and like not giving a damn what anybody else thinks about you eating only plums for lunch?
Right.
Like,
Right.
I love that personally. So I want other people to find a way to love that, because a lot of people are really shy about um, doing raw vegan, because I was just talking to a guy recently and he was saying, like, I just feel so awkward going to lunch with my friends and just pulling out my fruit and eating it in front of everybody. And I feel for him. And at the same time, I'm like, oh, that's like such an awesome opportunity to be the one punk there, you know, like eating your freaking fruit. And then the cool thing is too, is that you do get noticed and people tend to look at you and ask you what the hell you're doing. What
Mm-hmm.
are you doing, Adriana? What are you doing, Jerome?
Yeah.
Why are you drinking juices? And then you get to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You get to be kind of a leader in that sphere.
Mm.
And you get to show people also your results. And people want those results. People want to be healthy. Come on. Of course, when we're young, you can get away with a lot of stuff because your body isn't as encumbered with garbage
Right.
yet. It's still more efficient because it doesn't have as much accumulation as somebody who's lived more years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the aging process necessarily, it's more about the accumulation of
Right.
garbage. And most young people have not accumulated so much garbage. So they don't feel it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that the longer and longer you wait and continue to accumulate garbage, it's kind of like if you, like a hoarder who continues to hoard and hoard and hoard, first couple of weeks, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
But after 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years of hoarding, you've
Mm.
got a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the same. It's kind of like it's like an analogy for, yeah.
Great analogy. No, and it hits close to home because, I have family members that are dealing with that exact situation right now, and they're
Hmm.
seeing the effects of the accumulation, and now they have a whole situation, now there's, a lot of frustration trying to like open the door and like walk in. They have to walk in sideways, because
Yeah.
they're dodging all the boxes and the shelves and just the accumulation of things that they've acquired.
Hmm.
And it's like it takes a lot. It takes a lot to undo that process, but
Hmm.
it was also a process,
Yeah.
like it was a whole process to get there. So to undo it is a whole nother process that, we don't really account for. We don't really give it, credit or credence to understand that, hey, it's going to take some time. It took some time to get here. You can't expect to reverse it all in one day, in one day. So
Hmm.
my goodness, Adriana, like, thank you for that testimony. And thank you for, I love the way that you tell it. And I love the way that you sell it, that you're talking about how this protoplasmic poison is like, it's like cellular genocide. Basically, you're committing genocide
Yeah.
on a cellular level to yourself, like to your own body. That
Hmm.
sounds, that's the opposite of self-love,
Hmm.
and some people, we have it backwards, like, oh, treat yourself, love on yourself, go have fun, enjoy yourself, indulge,
Hmm.
just kick back, hang loose, right, right. Stop being so uptight, but we're killing ourselves.
Hmm.
You gave me a picture, just an image of all the little cells in the brain, just
Yeah.
just kind of like I'm melting. What was that? What was that?
The
I'm
Wizard of Oz.
melting.
That's right.
That
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 was
gave me
wonderful.
it gave me that image. So you're really bringing this to the forefront and making people say, okay, it's all right to stand out.
Hmm.
It's all right to be apart from the crowd that wants to eat all the junk. I can actually,
Hmm.
you know, the regeneration can be rebellious.
Yes.
Revitalization can be a revolution.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it can be a solution for sure on all levels. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree, and thank you again for the wonderful rhymes. Like it's like you have it all within the same context too. Can I just comment on this real quick? Like, did anybody else notice this about Jerome? He's like going off on this wonderful tangent about raw foods, and it's all within the same topic, and he can just rhyme like a poet, like he's like a real life Shakespeare, but a fruitarian. Like, can we just, oh my gosh, just bowing down a little.
No,
It's
you good.
beautiful.
Good.
You're
Blessings.
the you're like the rhyming fruitarian. You're like the, oh my gosh, you should like write stuff.
I mean, I've written quite a few. We're on book number
Okay.
11 right now. We're about to publish my 11th book.
What?
Yeah. And I've written some poetry. I've written a poetry book as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell people where you can purchase this stuff because I'm curious now
It's all
too.
on Amazon. You just type in my name, Jerome Shaw, and all of my books are there. Yeah, all of my.
Wow.
Hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
So
Wow.
thank you. Thank you for that sentiment. And, you know, it's interesting too, because one of the things that you said, Adriana, and so many people deal with this when it comes to, you know, even what people call imposter syndrome or,
Mm,
you know, who am I complex or, you know, they're going to judge me, the criticism, the backlash, and, you know, from family, friends, loved ones, but even just in your circle, when it comes to the courage to be disliked,
mm,
you know, the courage to be disliked. And I know that you probably went through a lot of training when it came to your clowning. You know, the clowning probably trained you a lot for this, but could you talk about that and just touch on that because so many people deal with that and are really afraid to be different because of that, just the not having the
mm.
courage to be disliked from others.
Yeah, sure. There's actually a book called The Courage to Be Disliked, and it's very good. I highly recommend it. I wonder if you read it
No.
or listened to it. Oh, okay. It's wonderful. Um, it really helps with that. But yes, definitely clowning and performance and all that stuff, it helps with that completely. Um, and I know a lot of people struggle with this part. In fact, most of the comments that I get on my videos are about the social aspects of going raw vegan or fruitarian,
Mhm.
changing your diet in general. Because most people socialize with food. A
Mm.
lot of cultures, many cultures, traditionally have food at gatherings when they get together and socialize. That's the way people socialize together and show love and affection. Like
Mhm.
somebody making you dinner is like a sign of love, right? And so if somebody makes you dinner and you deny it, you know, there's that whole like faux pas of that, like, well, you can't say no, like I gotta be nice.
Right.
But the courage to be disliked is, I think, paramount in changing your life in any sort of way
Mhm.
for the better. Because most people, when they want to change their life for the better, they usually have to go against the mainstream. They usually have to do things that are uncomfortable. Like,
Mm.
let's say you want to get really fit, you got to start working out. You can't get fit just eating raw foods. Like, good luck. You're gonna be really weak. You can't get fit just eating meat.
Mhm.
Good luck. You're going to be really weak if you don't exercise. So it doesn't matter what the diet is. But anyways, this is off topic. But
No, you're good.
um,
You're good. Yeah.
thank you, darling. but, um, but even just changing your diet is a really big one for most people because they're afraid to insult people
Right.
and they're afraid to be the weird one because at least with exercise you can do it on your own terms. You're not really getting in anybody's way really. But if you show up to a party and they're serving pizza and you're like, oh, I don't eat pizza, you know, then you feel a little awkward
Mm.
maybe.
Mm.
But you don't have to see it that way. You can see this as an opportunity to say, I'm going to take responsibility for what I'm choosing. Because we cannot expect the entire world to change because you changed. Like
Mm.
you have to be the one to take care of yourself in those situations.
Mhm.
It's a little uncomfortable, but yeah, you got to either show up with your fruit and be ready and willing to talk about it or explain about it or just be the one that's kind of weird, like, oh, look at weird Adrianna. She's eating only bananas for this dinner party. What a weirdo. Like,
Mm.
whatever. Like, let them think that. People are going to have judgments of people for the rest of their lives
Yeah.
if they choose to. You will never not see this happening. And it often comes about that people will judge those the most that are the ones that are changing their lives for the better the most, the ones who rise up in their lives, who become the heroes of their own lives. Whatever, amazing stories about heroes that we read, those heroes usually for a while are hated by many people or are very misunderstood for a long time. So you actually get to be that hero in your own life.
Wow.
And to me, that is an honor. I am so excited about that idea. I'm like, yes, I get to be the hero in my own life.
So,
So for me, it's not a challenge. It's actually fun and exciting.
I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love just the vibrancy and just the joy that rings from you when you talk about this, because it really
Thank you.
sounds like your perspective and your directive and your objective is what we need in the collective. Like we need this because I'm serious, you know, like when you're talking, Adriana, about, just not like taking these things personally because you're going to be judged no matter what you do.
Yes.
No matter what you do, you'll be judged, as a failure. You'll be judged if you're successful.
Yep.
You'll be judged if, if you finish college, you'll be judged if you dropped out.
Yep.
You'll be judged on all sides of the fence. So understanding that and really just understanding that, hey, it just doesn't have to stop me from living my life. It doesn't have to stop me from being who I am
Hmm.
and who I feel inclined to be, not to conform to the societal norm,
Hmm.
but to, witness myself transform in new ways and to rise higher and to really just answer my own inner calling. What is my inner guidance? What is my intuition? And what is the fruition of following my inner vision? Where is this going?
You're so
So I
awesome.
love it. And you were talking earlier as well, Adriana, about being with someone. You mentioned your ex-partner,
Hmm.
and you said that both of you were working with cannabis. It was cannabis heavy with your ex-partner. But then how did that separation, like how did that change you? Maybe how long were you with them? And what was it like when you were no longer smoking cannabis?
Well, I think that throughout my life, I always kind of felt pressured by the people around me. And it's
Mm,
nothing to do with them, to be honest. Like I would think, well, they're doing it, so I should do it too. And,
mm,
like when you're younger, you just want to try things out, right? And that's the thing that I wanted to try. It never worked for me, though. I always had what they call a green out. I just hated it. It never calmed me down. I
green
always
out?
felt so, yeah, so a green out is when you just feel like totally out of sorts and you don't enjoy your experience. And that's basically what happened to me. And yeah, I think in that relationship I just wanted to be a part of what was happening,
Mm,
right? So I just allowed myself to try it and do it. And there were fun times, of course, but yeah, it just didn't really work for me. And I think that as I continued on in my life, after that had ended and everything, um, I had gone into veganism, and I also was diagnosed with MS that same year that I became
I
vegan.
see.
Um, and so that is when I really started looking into health and how I could heal my body with my mind and everything like that, and how the mind actually affects the body.
Mm,
And at that time, I was still open to all of these things like marijuana and junk food and alcohol and all that stuff, all those stimulants. And I guess weed isn't really a stimulant, but it's more of like a depressor a little bit. It like numbs you a little bit, calms you down. Um, However, as I continued on that journey, I eventually found out more about foods and how they actually affect you and the things that you put into your body, how it affects you. And so it became a no-brainer for me that all of those substances externally that I was using as a way to make myself feel better, even foods, not just marijuana or alcohol and stuff like that. Food also for me was like a drug because I was using it in order to suppress how I was feeling. So, like you were talking earlier about, going to Mickey D's and like getting turned up and all that stuff, like all of these things are ways to, make us feel good. Like those foods taste delicious.
mm,
Like we can't deny that. Getting tipsy or drunk, it feels good.
mm.
Taking drugs is supposed to make you feel good. Otherwise, people wouldn't do it. But for the most part, these things are short term effects
Yeah,
for long term detriment,
yeah, yeah.
which I realized was no longer what I was about. And I,
Right.
I understood that the accumulation of over time of me taking in these poisons led to the cause of, disease and problems in my own body. So it was enough for me to realize later on, like, okay, I'm never doing these things again. But it took me a while to get to this point of understanding that in a more deep way. Hmm.
Yes, yes. I love your honesty. I
Thank
love
you.
your honesty. Seriously, just. Your transparency, you're just so forthcoming with your journey and your process, and letting people know that it wasn't overnight. You know, it was a journey. It was over many nights,
Yeah.
and that this was like a slow release. Like you had to, you know, it's not that you erased the habits, you replaced the habits with something else over
Mm.
time. And you know, when you're talking as well as you were talking, Adriana, earlier about your body and how even if someone is on a raw vegan diet or on a fruitarian diet and just living that lifestyle, just a fruit-based lifestyle,
Yeah.
they still have to take care of their vessel. They still have to exercise, right? You still have to work out. You know, congratulations, right? Congrats, congrats. You still got to move your body. You still got to
That's
groove
right.
your body. To
Hmm.
improve your body, you got to move your body. So
Yes.
when you're moving your body, I've seen videos of you, Adriana, doing
Mm.
yoga, and you're doing this yoga routine. It was really awesome just to see you, like your flexibility and your ability to really just be mobile and move around. When did yoga come into the picture, and how has that affected your lifestyle?
I started doing yoga probably about 5 years ago. I
Mhm.
just wanted to try it out. I don't even remember how it started. I think it was when I started living alone when I was maybe 24-ish. There was a yoga studio nearby and I started just kind of going just to try it out. And I just fell in love with it because I loved that um, I could do it all in one place
Mhm.
and I could memorize these postures and I loved the flow of it. I loved stretching it out and also getting strong. So for me, it's just been a consistent practice and I've just enjoyed it ever since. So I just keep doing it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
What advice would you give for somebody who, wants to find something like yoga that is complementary to their, new lifestyle, their new diet, where
Hmm.
they're lightening up on all of the calories, on all of the protein programming, and all of the consumption of, carnivorism and, cannibalism of dead flesh, and they're moving over into, just a more natural way, a more simple way, but they don't feel a lot of muscle. They don't feel like
Mm-hmm.
they need that
Yeah.
hustle. They want that muscle. Yeah. What advice would you give?
Oh, that's a great question because I think a lot of people who actually go into the fruitarian or raw vegan diet, we get really locked into the diet and we're like, oh, okay, this is my salvation. It's like that's all I ever need forever and ever. Amen. It's like, no, you actually need to exercise. If you want to build muscle, you can't do it by eating
Mm,
bananas. Like, sorry, you have to exercise. Dr. Doug Graham always says something really beautiful. I'll paraphrase. He said something like, muscles are not built in the kitchen, they're built in the gym or wherever you're exercising, right?
mhm,
So for people, well, actually, I guess it depends on your goals. Like
mhm,
for me, I like being flexible and I like being a little strong. I like being able to run. I like being able to have good
mhm,
cardio. It also depends on somebody's physique goals as well. Some people want to be big and buff, like most men want to be like that, and that's great. I love that. But I think for those people, then they need to look into, okay, how do those people get like that?
mhm.
How do you get strong? For most people who want to get strong, then they need to do strength training exercises, not bodybuilding, but strength training. There's a big difference. Um, and so you also then need to adjust your calories as well. If you
Mhm.
want to build muscle just for muscle's sake, then you need to eat more calories. You need to bulk up, as they say. Maybe some more fat in your diet,
Mhm.
avocados. And then, of course, if you want to have like a really lean physique, you want to just be really trim and tiny, then you got to do a bunch of cardio.
Mm,
If you want kind of like a yoga looking body, then do yoga. So it really depends on what your goals are and also what you like. Like you should really enjoy what exercise you do. It's my
mhm.
personal selfish opinion. I want to enjoy my life, so I choose to do exercise I enjoy. Like I like going for bike rides and I like doing yoga. So that's me.
I love that. I love that you follow your joy, you follow your bliss, you
You
follow your
gotta.
excitement.
Yeah, you
And
gotta.
I really enjoy that you do that for yourself because that's its own frequency. That's its own vibration when you follow what you enjoy doing anyways. You know, you're going to be more inclined and have a lot more incentive to continue. You know, when you have that joy welling within you, you'll want to continue, you know?
Yes,
So, yeah, yeah, it
absolutely.
makes sense. It just makes sense. It's logical. And you mentioned that there's a big difference, Adriana, between bodybuilding and strength training. So with people with different definitions, like they have different definitions of what strength is.
Hmm.
What would be Adriana's definition? Like, how do you define strength? What does it mean to be strong?
Well, I think being physically strong would mean being able to lift heavy things, essentially, or hold your body weight. You know, being able to pull yourself up on a bar,
Hmm.
things like this. Having leg strength to, you know, do a squat with something heavy on you and you know, get back up. And Doug always says, like, you don't need to be able to do 25 reps. You need to be able to do 1 rep of a really heavy weight.
Hmm.
And so, like Doug does professional strength uh, competitions,
Yeah.
and he's actually like the best in his class. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's 71, by the way. You probably knew that. But yeah, he's doing really, really well. And super strong guy, you know, and he's not big either. That's the thing. Like I know some fruitarians do you know Eli Martyr?
No, not familiar. No.
He's a stuntman. He lives in Canada as well. He's also been fruitarian now for like 8 years, and he's
O-
super freaking strong. Like, just can do crazy stunts.
Okay.
So amazing body weight capabilities and calisthenic capabilities, and also because when I went to the UK Fruit Festival, he and Doug were there, and I watched them both doing some weightlifting, strength training. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like you guys are so strong. Like it's amazing. So, but they're not huge
Hmm.
guys. They're very lean, but they practice strength training so they can lift very heavy
Hmm.
weights. And to
Hmm.
me, that I think that really is strength, is being able to lift heavy, being able to, yeah, you know, do things with your body weight. Like I still can't do a pull up. So I wouldn't really consider myself very strong yet. And so this is something that I want to cultivate.
Hmm.
Because another thing that I learned from Doug is that all of your sports performance, like running, yoga, anything you like to do, will get better. You'll improve if you're stronger,
Okay.
not if you're bigger. If you get bulky and really big and buff and you have these huge pecs and like giant muscles and giant legs, like you're going to have a hard time running a marathon.
Yeah.
Like cuz you're just going to be heavier, you're going to be really bulky.
Yeah.
Most athletes, their worst enemy is having more bulk on them.
Hmm.
They want to be leaner, they want to be lighter so that they can move faster, so that they can be more graceful in their movements.
Yeah.
But they can be really strong at the same time.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's a very specific type of training that is different to bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is all about repetitions and like swelling up your muscles. So, you know, some people do that with drugs too, which is not good for you.
Good.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. To each his own. No, definitely. I love this message because I like how you differentiated the two, and you talked about how there are definitely pros and cons. Like, you know, there's examples for being lighter, and there's an argument for being lighter that, you know, even there's people who are better fighters because they're lighter, you know? Like
Yes.
they're not so bulky so they can be lighter on their feet. I mean, Bruce Lee was one of those people. Bruce Lee is definitely one of my idols when it comes to like martial arts
Mm,
and just legendary. And, you know, if you look at him in his interviews, he doesn't look like a super big guy, but I mean, that man was strong, you know? He was super strong. So he had
yes.
like it was like a hidden strength. It was like a real hidden strength. It was like, you know, if you didn't know who he was, he could just be a random guy on the street. You could pass by him. But if you got into a fight,
Yeah.
right? You know,
Yes.
it's like you don't even see the kick. Where was the kick? I don't. You just wake up, right? So
Mhm.
there's different types of strength, and also one of my definitions when it comes to strength is, you know, the ability to let go, the
Mm.
ability to release, the ability to relinquish things that we've been holding on to. As humans, I feel like we're really good at holding on to things. and it's hard for us to let go, you know, not just physically, you know, with the waste in our bodies, but even just emotionally, it's hard to let go. Mentally, it's hard to let go. So I feel like a person is strong when they're able to let go. Like some people are just able to sit with their feelings, with their emotions, with the tornado and the turmoil that is going on within them. They can sit with it, they can process it, they can acknowledge it,
Yes.
they can hear it, they can see it, and then release it, let it be on its way. Where there's other people who might have, you know, gotten hurt by somebody in second grade or might have gotten bullied, and they hold on to that, you know, for decades, you know, or they were, you know,
Mhm.
abused by somebody, or they used somebody, and they hold on tight to that grudge that's not hurting the other person, but it's eating them up inside.
Mhm.
So I feel like it takes a lot of strength at times just to let go. Yeah.
Oh, totally agree. I think that's a great point, Jerome. Yeah. Like the mental and emotional ability to let go of things is, yeah, a huge strength. Absolutely. Um, and I think it takes a lot of strength emotionally to make changes in your life as
Right.
well, kind of like with, yeah, like changing your diet, of course. It's like on topic, but like, but it's true, like it really does take a lot of emotional strength also to be kind of the outcast, the
Hmm.
social pariah, like that takes strength to, and courage, I think. It takes so much courage
Yeah.
to do that. Um, I noticed something else for me in my own life, strength. Like mentally, I think that it takes so much strength to be willing to be wrong
Mm.
and to be willing to admit it.
Hmm.
Like, oh, shoot, I was wrong about this.
Hmm.
And I think for most of us actually, that's a huge point of strength. It's when you can be willing to admit to somebody that you were wrong, or even that you were wrong about some ideology you were holding on to for a really long
For sure.
time. And even with raw veganism, I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm not holding on to it so tightly that I have to be right about it. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? Because it just, I want to leave space and room for the fact that, like, yeah, there's going to be times that I'm incorrect.
Hmm.
There's going to be times where I don't exactly have the science right, or I don't know the answer. Like, there are so many things I actually don't know. It's crazy. Like, the more that I listen to interviews with the experts on this topic, or anybody talking about it that's done it for a while, I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's so much I don't know. I'm still learning so much. And even to just have people interview me, like, or talk to me about it and ask me questions, I'm just honored. Like, okay, I know a bit. Like, I know a bit, but I don't know everything.
You're so humble. You're so humble. You know, I love the modesty. I love your humility.
Mm.
And I love your just, that's wisdom. That's wisdom, Adriana. I think the most people, I got to tell you, the people that I feel are the most wise are definitely the ones, they're not the ones that know a lot. They're the ones that know how much they don't know. Right?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
somebody who's like, oh, I know that. I already know that already. No, I know everything, right?
Hmm.
It's the person that is willing to learn,
Yes.
that is willing to admit that, hey, I know nothing. I actually know nothing. You
Yeah.
know, the people that ask questions, to me, they're some of the wisest people on earth, because in asking that question,
Hmm.
just for a moment, you're admitting that you don't know everything.
That's
And
right.
there's
Yes.
more for you to learn.
Hmm.
But the minute that you say, I know it all, you've closed the door. What else can you learn? Right.
Exactly. Absolutely,
So
Jerome.
great
Yes.
point.
Hmm.
Great point that you made. So when it comes to, there's actually, if you'd like to end on a fun note,
Sure.
we've been having so much fun this whole time,
I
but
know. Like, this is the fun note. Okay.
just just to end on an even more jokey kind of fun note, I'd love to ask you just a few rapid, rapid fire questions, if
Okay.
you wouldn't
Before we do
mind.
the rapid fire questions, can I go pee? I've been drinking so much water.
Oh my God, go ahead. Go
Okay.
now. Go now,
Everybody
go.
talk to Jerome. Okay, I'm gonna go.
Oh man. She said, hold on. See the honesty. See? We were just talking about that. She's like, I don't even care. I gotta go now. I love it. I love it. I'm training myself to say that's what I think, believe. Beautiful, beautiful, Galia.
Ooh, that is so nice.
All right, we're back.
Yeah. I just want to, on a note of like you were talking about humbleness. I want to just tell people, have the courage to tell people you have to go to the bathroom when you have to go to the bathroom.
Please, please. You just,
Ask for
oh,
what you need.
you just embodied. I love this, Adriana. I love this. See, I love talking to you. I love
I love
talking
talking
to
to
you.
you.
You just embodied and exemplified pretty much all the principles that we laid out. You have the courage to just do it, right? To not worry about what people judge and criticize. And I mean, you just let it happen. You're so humble. You're like, okay, I really need to, let's get to that, but let me do this, So yeah, I
Thank
love
you.
it. I love it. So, okay, real quick. I'll make it quick since.
Okay.
All right. Who is a person that you would trade places with for a day? If you could trade places with anyone for a day, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. Hmm. Huh. Okay. Actually, I think I would trade places with Doug Graham. I want to feel his knowledge.
Okay. You want to
I
just
want to
feel his mind,
I
like
want to, yeah, absorb his knowledge. I feel like I would need more time to think about this question because there are so many
Doug
possibilities.
Graham. All right. All
Like,
right.
because there are people that I want to know their perspective on life. Like, I also thought like Eckhart Tolle. I would love to know. Oh my gosh, I would love to know what it feels like to be Eckhart Tolle, to have like that feeling he has all the time. Like, I don't know if you've heard him talk about what happened to him when he was like 30, but he just had this profound awakening. I'm
Okay.
like, what would it be like to just be in that state all the time of just like pure presence? Like how does your mind shut up? I don't understand. Or how does he, anyways, I think it would be really cool to like download somebody's knowledge, like just to know like all this stuff about nutrition and just be able to answer any question about it. That's why I would want to play traces with Doug for a day. mm, i would
Okay.
i would love to, I don't even, yeah, there's so many.
Okay.
What about you?
So you would trade places with Doug for his knowledge, and
Yeah.
you would trade places with Eckert for his nowness. Just
Yes.
his presence, his peace in the moment,
Yes.
just his nowness.
I want to feel that. Yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. What is a guilty pleasure, if you have any?
Dates, like dried dates, like the
Oh,
fruit.
that's a guilty pleasure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it
Well,
why is that a guilty pleasure?
oh, because, well, I'm not saying dates are bad. I'm just okay. So dates are not exactly ideal fruit, right? Like they're dehydrated, so they do actually kind of dehydrate your body. And I do notice, like yesterday, I had a lot of dates. I had a
Hmm.
lot of dates yesterday. Today, I felt quite dehydrated, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
But the other, and like even my digestion was not as good today. I was like, wow,
So
okay,
that's a
dates,
guilty
but
pleasure.
they're so delicious. Like I could just like go to town on dates. Or okay, for me right now, guilty pleasure would be like um, raw vegan gourmet
Okay.
foods. Like if I go to a gourmet restaurant in Bali,
Hmm.
okay, I'll tell everybody a story. Like when I went to Bali and I had these, I went to these raw vegan restaurants, I would go by myself and I would order like 5 or 6 things off the menu and I would eat them
Mhm.
all to myself.
Wow.
Not even kidding. And I would just be like, I'm done. I ate all of them. And they'd be like, what? Where did you put
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have, okay, so I think food, honestly, like the kind of concentrated flavors, like it's a guilty pleasure for me, but I think it is for everybody a little bit.
That was for me. I mean, that's been my life. Like as I
Yeah.
was listening to your story just now, I was thinking like that's me. That was me, literally, okay, I'll have the pad thai, I'll have the tom yum, I'll have this, I'll
Yeah.
have that. Okay, give me that in a side of that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, just
And
one of everything.
yeah, and just all to yourself. I literally was asking the same question, Adriana, like where is it going?
Yeah.
Where am I putting it away? So I mean it's amazing the way I live right now. I could never have imagined that, the level of consumption I have today was nothing like it was back then. I was eating large portions. So thank you
Yeah.
for that guilty pleasure. So you take yourself out on dates.
I do. I love taking myself out on dates. When there are raw vegan restaurants around, I take myself out. I'm like, let's go get some raw vegan sushi. It's, you know what, it's Friday for somebody. I'm gonna go like I'm gonna go do this.
Yeah. And you take yourself out
Yeah.
on dates.
Like literally, yeah, dates.
Literally, you take yourself out
Yummy.
on dates. I love it.
Hmm.
I love it. What's the best compliment you've ever received, Adriana?
I receive, there's so many nice compliments that I have the joy of coming my way. I don't have any that really stand out in my mind, honestly.
Mm,
I think all of them are equally beautiful. Like really though, like I'm not trying to be like, oh, they're all so but really though, it's actually true. I think so many of the compliments I receive are so like they're all so nice. And there was never one that was just like, oh, this was the one, you know? I don't think that's true for me. Like you paid me so many nice compliments today, Jerome, like about my videos. Like it makes me feel so good when somebody compliments my videos because I don't know if people realize, but a lot of YouTubers I think are pretty insecure. At least I can be because I put stuff out there and I'm like, I hope this makes sense. I hope sometimes I think I hope I'm not wrong
mm,
because I don't want to give out information that is incorrect.
yeah.
So just even hearing somebody say like, oh, I love the way you made it so simple, like you complimented me today, that made me feel really happy. So let's say that was the best compliment because it's the most recent one and I really appreciated it. It made me feel so happy.
Awesome. Awesome. And I love, just like you said, your courage to be wrong, like it took courage, I think for me I had to be skeptical of
Mm,
the way that I was living back then to live the way that I live now. It had to
mm,
take skepticism.
right.
It took a healthy bout of skepticism. And yeah, yeah, go ahead. Who you saying?
No, I was just agreeing with you. Like
Yeah,
you gotta question things. You gotta think critically. You can't just buy everything that
right.
people put on your plate
Questions
unless
are
it's
the
raw vegan food or durian. But
answer. What is the worst piece of advice you've ever received?
you were gonna say the worst piece of advice you ever given.
No, received,
Sorry.
received. Yeah.
Um, whew, oh, eat more meat.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
Or people would say, no, actually, no. Somebody told me once indirectly to eat only greens and a ton of like vegan fatty foods, like a ton of coconut and flaxseed and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I won't name the name, but
Yeah.
like it just totally screwed me up. It made my symptoms way worse, and I lost like so much weight. It was horrible. But anyway, so horrible advice for me.
Good. Got
Yeah.
it. Got it. And there's only two more. So the second to last one, I love your laughter,
Thanks.
and I'm wondering what never fails to make you laugh. When you're away from these types of situations, what is something that always gets you?
I think when I have a vibe with somebody and we can joke around with each other and we're teasing each other and we can like even if it's just a friend and like literally just a friend and we're like kind of flirting, do you know what I mean? Like we have banter, that like joking around back and forth, that makes me laugh so hard. Or
Mm.
like when somebody can make fun of me in a way that's really loving and I can feel that it's loving, it makes me laugh so hard. When people put a mirror in front of me
Yeah.
and or like will mock me or like in a loving way, like will show me what I look like when I do this. Like I had this friend when I went to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. I made so many friends there, and you will inevitably.
Mm.
But I had this friend, I think, what's his name? Simon? No. He he was making, because I would run every morning around, and he was making fun of the way that I used to run. And
How were you
it was so
running?
spot on, like exactly like that. No, like a robot. He was like kind of showing it, looking very like, you know, like girly. But I think that I've watched myself running before in a video for some reason. I was like, oh my God, he's right. It was spot on. It was awesome. It made
Okay,
me laugh really hard.
I love that. So you enjoy when somebody shows you a reflection,
Yes.
you feel like it makes a deeper connection.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Just to see the mirror of yourself reflected
Or
back
it,
in some.
yeah, or if a comedian can make fun of the way that people are in real life, like I think it's so funny. Like just mirror. This is why I love clown, I think, so much, because it's just it's a mirror. It's like this is what y'all look like. It's so funny. Like, and that's what I think that will always make me laugh. I think clown, when it's done really well, it always makes me laugh. It's so funny because most of it is a reflection of humanity. And
Okay.
to me, that is the funniest stuff, a reflection of humanity that has humor in it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
If you have any videos of clown, of you doing it as well, like I would love for you to send it to me. I'd love to watch it,
Sure.
just to see your essence, just you and your art, because it's like an art form,
It
you
is,
know?
yes.
Yeah. I'd love to watch that.
Sure, I'll send
Definitely.
you a video.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
The last question, Adriana, is what do you feel is your greatest achievement?
These are big. These are rapid fire. My greatest achievement?
Hmm.
I think I think most of my greatest achievements are ones that I don't realize are great achievements in the moment. You know? Like I don't have like any like, oh, like I was standing on stage with my Oscar. Like that's not the kind of achievements I would think of. Like just because they didn't happen super often. I think the greatest achievements for me were probably when I took risks that
Hmm.
were in alignment with what I wanted or what I just felt was right. Like like following my heart in any situation, I think has those are my greatest achievements. Like I will always look back on how how dedicated I was to my health when I was diagnosed with MS as a huge achievement, that I was able to resist the just straight up tyranny of people saying you have to do this, you have to take drugs, if you don't take drugs this is going to happen to you, you're going to die and you're going to be in a wheelchair. And like it was so, like it could have been so scary, but I'm actually really proud of that. I'm really proud that I was able to resist that. And I think that it didn't feel like an achievement at the time because it felt like just what was right at the moment. And I feel so blessed that I had that capability to say no to those things, to say no to drugs, and to follow this path, because it's like I didn't have any courage. I just knew it was right. You know, like a lot of people say, oh, that takes so much courage. And I'm like, no, I feel kind of like I'm being led this way. You know, I know for a lot of people it takes courage to do that, which I totally commend to the core. But for me, I think our greatest achievements, collectively, including myself, are the things that we do that are in alignment with ourselves. You know, like when you do the thing you love to do, I think that is the most massive achievement. And the most massive achievement ultimately is being really content and happy in your life.
Hmm.
And I don't think I've fully reached that in my life yet. And I'm always, kind of trying to find a way to really understand and know myself. And I think this is everyone's journey as well, is to really know who you are and to feel joy and love and peace in your life generally, most of the time. I think this is the way things ought to be. And I think that is the greatest achievement. This has been quite a TED talk right now, but really though, like I think that is my ultimate achievement, is whenever I'm able to do what's in alignment with myself. Period.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh my God. Oh my
Thank you very
God.
much.
I love that. I love
Aw,
that. My
thank you.
goodness. My goodness. You should be proud. You should be. You know, you should be proud of your achievement. Just like you said, taking risks, going out on a limb,
Mm-hmm.
putting it all out there and really taking a chance on yourself, betting on you.
Yeah.
You're at the poker table of life. You push the chips, you push all the chips. You're like all in. I'm going all in on Adriana. All in, right? Yeah.
I do my best. I think that, it takes time. Over time, you continue to grow and continue to learn about yourself, and you continue to become, you to peel off layers of you that are not you, and it does take time, and I'm still working on that. Like, and I feel like everybody here, and you as well, like we've all achieved so much in terms of what I just described as achievement, is, doing things that are in alignment with you. Like Jerome, just what you're doing right now is seemingly very in alignment with you. So this is a great achievement for you, and I really believe that. Like that's actually quite a big passion of mine, is understanding and knowing other people's passions, because I really believe that people following their joy and who they really are, that's your gift to the world.
Yes.
Like that's what you're here to give, is your joy. You're not here to save anybody. You're not here to save the world. You're here to do what makes you happy and joyful, because that will save the world in one aspect. The universe is trying to express through you, through your joy, and that's what you got to do in life.
Yes. In alignment. In alignment,
Yeah.
you know the assignment.
Hey, oh my gosh, who are you? You're so amazing.
I'm just your reflection, Adriana. I'm with you. I'm with you. I feel the
Yeah,
same. And I know that, right before we go, I know, that it brings you joy as well to assist others in their journey and to
hmm,
help others. I know you have, clients that you maybe with coaching as well. So if there's people that are watching this and they really feel in alignment with you and they want to get more in tune with you, could you remind people, your website or just the place that people should go to receive your services and your offerings? Please let people
sure.
know.
Yeah, sure. So if you go to my Instagram page right now, you could find, it's just Adriana banana underscore. You could also click on it from right here. I've got a few links in my bio. I think there's 2 free ebooks that you could download. And there's also a link to book a free 30-minute call with me if you would like that, just to see if you want to coach with me. If you're just kind of wanting to know, like, if I could help you or how I would help you,
Mhm.
then you can click on that and we can do some talking.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, you don't just talk the talk, you walk it. You walk the walk, Adriana. And just thank you endlessly just for coming on, sharing your
Oh,
testimony again. This was the second time. This is the second time, and I feel like we get deeper, we just get
yeah.
deeper.
I'd love to come
So,
back. I adore talking to you as well, Jerome. You're amazing.
all right. Well, blessings. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy time with family.
I will.
Much love.
Thank you. Much love. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jerome.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.